For today's extension, we're going to look at ordering integers. So not just comparing integers, but ordering them from least to greatest. So friendly tip for ordering integers, start with the negatives. I'm going to highlight my negatives first, and then we need to remember, bigger negatives are actually smaller numbers. So number one, put the following integers in order from least to greatest. So I'm going to highlight my negatives. So I see -12, -7, -20, and -11. Remember, a bigger negative is a smaller number, so the biggest negative that I see is -20. As soon as I list it, I'm going to cross it off so that I don't forget that I've already used it. My next biggest negative, so my smaller number, is -12. The next biggest negative or smaller number is -11. And then -7. So remember, your negatives work in opposite ways. -20, -12, -11, -7. Then, the next number that should come into play before positives, if you have it, is 0. And I see 0. That should be the dividing line between the negatives and the positives. And then our positives work normally. So what's the smallest positive? 3. Then between 8 and 14, 8. And then last but not least, 14. Let's try another one. Number 2, first thing I'm going to do, highlight my, oops, that's not a negative, my negatives. So I got -10, -43, -51, -2. Our bigger negative is a smaller number, so the biggest negative I see is -51. The next biggest negative I see is -43. After that, -10, then -2. Before I list my positives, I look for 0 if we have it. We do have a 0 right here. That should be my dividing line between negatives and positives. Now my positives work normal. The smallest positive is 2, then 19, then 55. All right, number 3. Biggest negative, or first I'm going to highlight my negatives. I've got -54, -8, -14, -33. Our biggest negative is going to be our smallest number, which is -54. Then -33. Then -14, and then -8. So again, opposite way, 54, 33, 14, 8. Look for 0 if we've got it. We do have 0. That should be in between the negatives and positives. Now our positives, 7 is smaller than 9. So 7 first, 9 second. All right, next example. I'm gonna highlight my negatives. All right, we just have 2 negatives, so the smaller negative is the bigger negative, which is -79, then -55. Always double check in to see if I see 0. I see a 0. Do that before your positives. Now in normal order, the smallest positive I see is 18, then 44, then 101, then 143. And then last but not least, looking at it in a real world scenario and given a table, same idea. So the table shows the lowest elevation for several continents. Order the elevations from least to greatest. We're going to list the continent and the elevation. So they're all negatives when I look at this. So biggest negative is our smallest number. I see that right here. -418 is Asia. So I'm going to write Asia, and I'm going to write -418. After that, the next biggest negative I see is -156, which is talking about Africa. The next biggest negative I see is -105, which is South America. I'm just going to abbreviate that. After that, the next biggest negative I see is negative 86, which is North America. Same thing, I'm going to abbreviate that. And then the next biggest negative is negative 28, which is Europe. Which leaves, last but not least, Australia at negative 12. And that's it.